So inshallah, we are on the path of a lot of things. We just need your support for that, inshallah. So before we begin, inshallah, any questions in regards to our discussions? Any questions in regards to anything else outside the discussion? Inshallah. Ramadan is coming quickly. It is coming very fast. Inshallah, this Saturday night will be the 15th of Sha'ban. So it's going to be another blessed night, and mashallah, a lot has to be. If we haven't really woken up to the reality, the 15th of Sha'ban should do for us. Like, we're really around the corner. So inshallah, let's keep that in mind. The way I see things, faith, uh, faith is where you have all the pieces of the puzzle at your disposal. What salah and prayer does, salah allows you to construct something with those pieces. What zakat does, zakat allows you to model that creation. Because if you tell a child, build a car with Legos, right? They'll take and they'll build whatever they think is a car. But if it comes in a box that has the image of the car on it, then they will build it according to that image. So salah is an opportunity for you to bring all the pieces together, and with zakat build exactly what the image is supposed to be. Siyam and fasting is an opportunity to purify it and to polish it. And Hajj is an opportunity to display it. So Hajj is our annual report card of how the Ummah display is. Unfortunately, when we go to Hajj and we see fights and quarrels, when we see people missing their prayers and not cooperating with one another, we see people wasting food and hoarding food, because in Hajj time they throw food out, people want to grab it and just keep it, but they don't eat it. It shows the Ummah is failing. The end product of this Ummah is a failure. That means going back, Ramadan didn't polish it and prepare it the way it was supposed to. And Ramadan didn't prepare and polish it because zakat didn't give the complete framework of how to build it. Because salah didn't allow you to understand that these pieces of puzzles are not garbage on the floor. They're actually, they cost money. And if you ever invest in Legos and stuff, they're expensive. They're very expensive. You know, they could go anywhere from a small one could go anywhere from $10 to $15, and the big ones you're talking $300, $400, $500, and it's just plastic. But again, if we in our faith don't see that Allah has put at our disposal tools and items, and we put them together and build it, Ramadan is the most important time to purify it and to make sure that it's good to go. If not, then Ramadan will be a failure, Hajj will be a failure, faith will be a waste, and a lot will be lost. So I constantly talk about this from different angles. Why? Because it's time we value Ramadan. We value the Ramadan spirit. We value the Quran recitation. We value the people coming to the masjid, but we're not valuing Ramadan. Ramadan is totally different. You know, sometimes, like for example, there's some virtues in Islam. If a person prays 2 rakat shuruk in the morning, they get the reward of Hajj Umrah, right? And that means an accepted Hajj and Umrah. Accepted. But that doesn't mean you performed Hajj and Umrah. A person can't say, I don't need to go Hajj because I do Hajj every day in the morning. No. You get the reward. Some deeds you get the reward like Laylatul Qadr because that's the reward, but that doesn't mean you got Laylatul Qadr, right? So what the point is, one is getting the blessings and one is getting the thing. Finding Laylatul Qadr is much more wholesome, and it's a fulfilling experience than getting the reward of Laylatul Qadr. So don't seek Laylatul Qadr because of the reward. Seek it because it's the night of goodness and power. Laylatul Qadri, Allah is talking about Laylatul Qadr. Khayrun min al-fishar. it is greater than 1,000 months. But Allah first described it and then described its benefit. Don't look at the benefit, look at it for itself. Don't look at the reward of Hajj and Umrah or sitting before prayer. The reward is equivalent to being in an accepted prayer. Don't look at the reward and get thrown off. Look at the prayer itself. So Ramadan is a wholesome package. There's so much to it. It's so beautifully packed that even if you open it, you don't want to rip the wrapping paper. You want to save the wrapping paper. You don't want to just pull off the bowl. You want to make sure you keep the bowl. The box is so nice. You'll use the box for recipes in the kitchen or something. You don't want to even throw the box away because you value every part of it until you get to the gift itself. So inshallah, we have our 9 steps that inshallah I will be discussing next week in our weekend Ramadan series, which will be announced soon, on a more practical level. You know, what's practical about Ramadan? What can I take from it? It's easy to talk about great stories and things that have happened in the past and how fasting was in the past. What can I take home from it? Inshallah, if we haven't begun as yet, let's start the fast, because the Prophet ﷺ used to fast more in this month than he ever did in any other month outside Ramadan. He used to fast in preparation of Ramadan. So inshallah, we shouldn't feel the first fast because we're already in the loop of fasting. Yeah, the first fast may be a bit different because it's not advisable to fast after the 15th of Shaban. The last 2 weeks, get ready for Ramadan, but we still have a few days. Just fast 1 or 2 days. Feel it. It's going to get a bit harder. It's going to get a little bit longer. I think 8:05 might get to 8:30, 8:40, I think, inshallah, Maghrib. Another matter of another 30 minutes or 35 minutes. So, again, get into a loop of fasting. We were talking last night, brothers were fasting, and he brought some pakoras and stuff. I said, no, I'm not gonna eat fried food, right? So, mashallah, milk is good, and ruh afza is good, and faluda is great, but not this Ramadan. You know, I'm planning my little flask. I'll put some soup, and that's it. I want to keep to that. Why? Because we've spoiled our bodies enough. Our bodies are so spoiled. We could go to a restaurant that we eat at 5 times and say, you know what? I don't like anything on this menu anymore. When the food is good, but just our natures are spoiled, and that's what human is. The Prophet ﷺ, if he wanted to focus on humanity's pleasures and their needs, he wouldn't have succeeded, right? Today, everyone's like, we need to make sure everyone has food. We need to make sure everyone has clothing. We need to make sure everyone in winter has a jacket, which is good. But if we don't focus on their hearts, they're not going to look beyond that. Because you give them a jacket today, they want boots tomorrow, this, that. We're the same. We bought a pair of boots today, we want another pair tomorrow. Why? The style changes. The colors are different. This doesn't go with that, but that could go with this. This is a time Allah saying, polish the body. The body has a lot of grime and mold on it. Rub it off. And do it by bringing the soul out, inshallah. And that's so, I said, keep the food simple. Give more charity in simple forms. It's not about writing checks. Cook the food and go give some to someone before you eat. Before you eat at Maghrib, go give someone some food in Asr. Remind yourself of the time when the Prophet ﷺ said that, who's going to host this person tonight? Sahabi said, I will. You know, we didn't have to call home. He's like, I will. Then he went home and asked. They said, there's nothing. This is a little for the kids. No, put the kids to sleep. Today, the food that we have for our kids is going to go to our guest. We're not even eating. They acted like they were eating. Huh? So if that day comes for my Ramadan, I will go hungry. It's okay. If the box is finished in the masjid for food, I'm okay. You know, nowadays we even get upset. It becomes a talk of masjids. Oh, those people did iftar. So kanjoos. Huh? 2 dishes. Last week they had 5 dishes. I'll do iftar next week. I'll bring 8 dishes. Look how spoiled we are. The whole thing. Or, oh, I ate too much. I don't think the food was cooked nicely. It doesn't agree with me. I need to go home. I can't do tarawih now. It's all talk about food and clothing. And it's like, let it go. Just let it go. Doesn't matter. So keep it simple. No expectation. The whole purpose of that was no expectations. Try not to even indulge in invitations. And please, we can create a culture where the da'wats start after Eid And right now during Ramadan, they can seize. Uh, write down your journal. Remember on the Day of Judgment, as I told you a few weeks ago, Allah will say to us on the Day of Judgment, you read your book. Accounting for taxes is so hard. Accounting for Allah is so easy. The angels did all the work. Allah said, please read your book. I'm not going to tell you. You read it. And if you find something wrong, ask me. I'll answer. But I'm not going to tell you anything today. It's all there. كَفَى بِنَفْسِكَ الْيَوْمَ عَلَيْكَ حَسِيبًا. You are your judge today. I don't need anything from you. So write down your own book. What are the things I want in life? I want closeness to Allah. What are things I need to lose? I want to lose the love of dunya. What are the things I want to continue through Ramadan? I want to continue fasting once a week. Simple goals. If you don't write it, it's not going to happen. There's so many inshallahs in our life. Yeah, inshallah, inshallah. When? When's the inshallah? We will go in our grave and the angel will ask us, who's your Lord? Inshallah, tomorrow I'll tell you. No, it's not going to work anymore. It's now or never. Because you got two options. The angel saying you answer or you're gonna be beaten up. Now see, there's two questions. Like there's two options, there's three questions, answer. So my inshallah starts from this Ramadan because my inshallah stops this Ramadan. My execution goes through this Ramadan because we have become so complacent with time. Yeah, we will. You know, when we have that intention, yeah, we will. Allah brings situations so you do. But sometimes, even those situations, we run further from Allah. And we say, Allah, if you fix this, then I will. But Allah's saying, but I had not even put it on you and you said you will. Now I put it on you to bring you closer. You're still saying, I will if you remove it. So when is it? When Allah gave us good times? When Allah tests us in bad times? When Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave us strength? When Allah gave us sickness? When Allah gave us wealth? He gave us poverty? In all situations, we have our own, drama. Allah, health, I'll pray tahajjud. Health, Allah, I'm just really tired tonight. I really worked 12 hours today. I'll pray tahajjud tomorrow. So let's stop playing games with ourselves. We're not playing games with Allah, and write that journal down. The 1 minute tahajjuds, the 1 minute du'as, we talked about those. Memorizing some du'as that are masnoon, and read one verse of the Quran every day in Arabic, read the English, read the tafsir, and reflect. Quran isn't, look, the Prophet ﷺ told us, a time's going to come when the Quran will only go to the throat. Right? It's only going to stay on the throat. I don't want to bad talk here, but think about it. We have all these discussions on Quran or Qiraat competitions, global Qiraat competitions. It's become the norm, right? Qiraat competitions, Qari recites and stuff. I asked myself a simple question. Did this happen at the time of the Prophet ﷺ? No. Think about it. Abu Bakr is the Qari tonight. He's going to recite Quran. The voice is beautiful, mashallah. But what the Prophet ﷺ said, it's going to stay by the throat. We're not reflecting anymore. Oh, this is Tafsir Mazhari. This is a Tarjuma. This is this. Oh, mashallah, mashallah, let's go next. Or, who has the most beautiful voice? They have global Qiraat competitions. We have local Qiraat competitions. We have national Qiraat competitions. But where do we have a competition of bringing people together? Could you reflect on this verse for the next 30 days? What is this verse telling us? Look at the monasteries. The Christian, they sat there their whole life, not just reading the Bible, but thinking, what's the Bible telling us? And Muslims, either we're Hafiz, or we have a good voice, or we know what the tarjuma is, or we know the Arabic language. Who is thinking? The Quran will reveal itself to you if you think on it. أَفَلَا يَتَدَبَّرُونَ الْقُرْآنَ. Don't they ponder on the Quran? Allah's asking, what's wrong with us? Why are we reflecting into the depths of this Quran? This is the time, unfortunately, where we are. Okay, you know the Quran. You have a good voice, mashallah. You know the translation. What has it done for you? What has it done for our world? They memorize, the Sahabas, some of them memorize Surah Baqarah 2-3 years, just Surah Baqarah. Because first verse, reflection, understanding, inculcation, practice, propagation. It was a whole system. So, as I said, take one verse of the Quran this whole month for each day. Spend some time, reflect. What do you mean reflect? I don't see anything. That's the whole purpose. You don't see anything right now. When you keep thinking and reflecting, something will come from it. The Quran is a treasure, sisters. It's a treasure. There's so much in the treasure. And if you think it's old, old is gold, right? If someone extracts a treasure from the ocean right now and says, "Oh, look at this gold currency." Oh, no, no, sorry. We have the Benjamins. We have $100 bills. No, you know what? This thing is worth more than a $100 bill. Matter of fact, it's worth more than thousands of these. You know why? Because this is something different. It's old, it's ancient, it's historical, it's unique. So our Quran is so unique. If we don't think, Allah will not facilitate the solutions for our life in our society, in our family, which comes from the Quran. But you have to reflect, inshallah. So that's our game plan that we've, mashallah, put together, and inshallah, we're all gonna pursue. And so let's prepare for it, inshallah. You had a question, sister. Sorry.
Yes, when we talk about like food in the Ramadan,
Mm.
it's easier for adult. I
Mhm.
think if we have willpower, then control the food, whatever we want to eat. How about the kids who are like young, like 10 years old, 11 years old, and they like to eat something that is very tempting to us, and if I make it, then I'm gonna lose my
See, now,
willpower. What I'm gonna do now?
You lost me in that question because I was on the point thought that you were gonna say the kids love it, so I was gonna tell you let the kids eat. But now you say, but we love it also. So like we're using the kids to get.
Yeah, like when we make it, then it becomes like, okay, we like it.
So inshallah we could taste it just to make sure it's fine, and then we can feed it to them. But if we're not sure, we could take a second bite just to make sure 3 is sunnah. So take a third one.
But it's good to reward the kids with a good.
Of course. See, I believe, again, this is my personal belief. I'm not talking about faith here. Decorate your homes. I used to light up my whole house, right? And we were the first house on the street. People's like, what kind of munafiq imam is this? No, I light up. Why? Because if you say, see, what happened is we said this is wrong, right? And now guess we have the Christmas crescent tree. Like, do you know why the tree was in Christmas? Because it was the only thing to remain green and alive during the harsh winter, during the winter solstice. That's why they literally worshipped the green tree, because they believed it had some godly powers. Everything else is dead, and this thing is still green. It has more. It's more than a symbol of a Christmas tree. But lights and decorating the house, putting up your Happy Ramadan or Happy Eid signs in the home, which you could get online, should do that because the kids see that. If the Hindus are doing it for Diwali, they all did it. Why are our Muslims so, oh, this is haram and bidah? You're in a society where they celebrate their holidays and you are ashamed to even wear clothes and go out on Eid day. So we say, let's just practice Christmas. I don't see the Hindus celebrating Christmas as much as Muslims do. I don't see Jews celebrating Christmas as much as Muslims do, because we don't even have confidence in what we are and what we do. Decorate your homes. There's a lot of fun treats, balloons, Ramadan Mubarak balloons. Bring them and put them up in the house. Give the kids treats. Yes, we need to spoil them, because this is historic for little kids as they're fasting their first half a day or something. Let's give it to them and make the Eid more special. Put lights up in the house. Put some lanterns up in the house. Those Moroccan lanterns. Something. Make it special. The only thing in our days, Ramadan was special. Agarbatti came out and the Quran came out. That's the only thing that came out in my house when we were kids. Like the Quran came, that's Ramadan, right? And the Agarbatti was burning everywhere, incense stick. Other than that, there was nothing. And we grew up looking at schools, look at Christmas, Santa Claus, this, that. We don't need a Mullah Claus, right? We don't need someone with a big beard coming in, ho, 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 Bismillah, sit on my lap. No, Angel Jibreel told me, we don't need that stuff. And believe me, it's funny right now. Tomorrow it's going to happen. Because we are adopting everyone's ways because we're so insecure of our own ways. The crescent tree to me was like, oh my God, it's a crooked, defective tree. We're bringing it to house crescent tree. Like, we don't even worship the crescent. The crescent is a Turkish symbol, Ottoman symbol. It doesn't mean, because people see the Pakistan and Malaysia and Turkey, so you guys worship the moon or the moon god. Yeah, we worship the God who made the moon, but we don't worship the moon. It was a symbol for us. It was an identification for nations. So our kids and our next generation will go all out against it. Make Ramadan special for them. Let them have good food. Matter of fact, let them continue the diet with a weekly treat. Make Eid special then, because if we spoil them in the whole Ramadan, then Eid is not going to be special. Build up for that, and give them small little hinters or gifts during Ramadan, and Eid, give them gifts. You know, if we were to, if we were truly to celebrate and respect our religion, I'm positive the world would respect it also. America would say, you know what? Take your day off. Here, the rabbi across the street and I were talking. He said that they're not allowing us to get excused absence for the Jewish holidays. He went to the superintendent and all that. They did not want to honor them that holiday. So even the Jews in Plano have the same problem. I said to him, we're having candidates come here next week, inshallah. Please, sisters, this is not about are you a political Muslim or not. You live in this city, you all better vote. You all come, inshallah, with your families to the candidate forum next Sunday. Listen to these people who are going to be running your government for the next 4 years here in the city, or 6 years. What are they standing for? Ask them a question. Why is it hard for me to get excused absent for my child from school in Eid? Why is it hard to be excused? Why is it always a problem? If the Jews and the Muslims come together and we show who we are and what we believe, we'll win together. Why not? But Christmas is a holiday. It's a national holiday, right? Thanksgiving, Easter, they're off Friday and Monday. What's the significance of Easter to America? Cadbury eggs. They came, you brought them. You guys invaded this country with those Cadbury eggs. My wife's like, okay, let's go get Cadbury eggs. I'm like, I don't like those things, but like Cadbury eggs are there. But it's a Christian holiday, right? It's a Christian holiday. But they have made it national. Our schools close. Our banks close. Government closes. The question is, we need to respect our religion, and we need to make sure that those people who we're going to be electing, we elect them. They serve us. When Muslims fail to vote, when you fail to register, number one, and you fail to vote, just say there's 40,000 Muslims in Collin County eligible to vote, but there's only 8,000 registered. Let me tell you, the data is there. I can find out when's the last time you voted, what party affiliation you are, and I can even find out who you voted for. The data is there. It's not like it's hidden. So Muslims, number one, so there's 40,000 Muslims in Collin County, 8,000, yarhamukallah, are registered. So now a person comes, I'm running for elections here. I need to find the greatest pool of people I can gain their credibility. So I will, whatever they say, I'll do. But now he says, yarhamukallah, 8,000 is registered, but now he looks at the next page. Only 2,000 Muslims vote. Now we say, oh, come to our masjid. We want to listen. Oh, I have no time for you, 2,000. I can get 2,000 at the bar and at the club. I don't need to come to get it from here. But if 40,000 Muslims are eligible to vote and they're registered and they vote, they're going to come and call us. They'll be sending their people. We like our person to come and talk to you because you mean something in the city. And here we're debating, is voting halal or haram? If a woman runs a country, the country is destroyed. Like, where are we going? Where are we really going? So please, a very important elections are coming up for our local. Remember, what happens in Plano, if a bill is passed or if a law is made in Plano or in Austin, it's going to affect you the same day. If a law is made in Washington, D.C., your states, your federal judges could fight it. And it'll take time. Like if he cuts Medicare today, it's not going to affect us till next year because the Medicare for this year is already in the budget. Next year will affect us. So just say next year a Democrat president came, you're like, oh, what happened? You don't realize it was cut the year before and it took time for it to affect you. But what happens here will affect us. We already had a racist incident in our Plano. We do not want that again. So if a Plano seat is open, you better elect the right person. Our school board district, elect the right person. City council, school board, whatever is out there, go and elect. Make sure you're registered. Make sure you vote. I think the last day to register is the 25th, I think. I might be wrong, but find out. The day inshallah, the day I'm able to vote, I will inshallah vote. But until then, you all should tell your friends, families, neighbors, you better go vote. Let us make our power and our numbers strong. That they need us, not that we need them. There's a way of playing this game, and the game is engaging in society, inshallah. So, make Ramadan special. We want to see a day where, like in Canada, Walmart Ramadan Mubarak. Walmart has a whole freezer section for halal food. And in the GTA area, we may have maybe around the same amount of Muslims as the whole DFW area. But the Muslims worked very constructively there. They made sure that mainstream understood that they're there. We could do that in Dallas easily. We could have Kroger, Walmart, everyone doing Eid sales and stuff. Why not? They want their money. We want our recognition. We want our kids to read their Ramadan in the newspaper too. It's a matter of strategy. But if we don't buy those lights, if we don't buy those gifts, sometimes we buy Eid gifts on Boxing Day sale or New Year's sale. Let's buy those Eid gifts. No, let's go buy it right now. Show them how the economy goes up right now because we're buying, because we're going for vacations. They will then inshallah give us, they will give us incentives. Imagine all the Muslims, now Ramadan is in the summer holidays, Eid's in the summer holidays. Imagine if we had a national Disney World Muslim Day. Think about this, right? Disney would give us cheap tickets, airlines would give us cheap tickets. Why? Because you're helping us and we're going to help you. But we don't want to even go for Eid. We don't want to do vacation for Eid, but then we want to go during Christmas time. Take time off now. This is your time. If the Muslims take time off when it's their celebration, we can work for the Christians when it's their celebration. You understand? If you're a doctor in the hospital, they'll work for you and cover you while you're out. And when it's Christmas, let them take off. It's their holiday. We'll cover for them. This is the way a society works. Because you can't just shut down everything for one person, So alhamdulillah, inshallah, think about what you want to do for Ramadan. Be creative and do that. Make the kids write handmade Eid cards. Make the kids make a Ramadan chain. So in school we used to make those chains out of paper for Christmas. Make a Ramadan chain, like, I love Allah, or, I love my kujur, whatever. Just like make something and let them be creative. Because the more they put their passion into this, the more they'll grow up liking it, inshallah. Any other questions, inshallah? Kujur, Zamzam, whatever. I did say date on purpose, yes.
I do have a question. I just wanted to give a suggestion. Like for past 2 years with my preschool, I have been making a Ramadan calendar.
Yes.
With pockets and
that's
put some
beautiful.
hoodies or just write a good deed. And
Sure.
he can't read, but I can read to him.
Sure.
Like today's deed is this, and then give a candy or something at iftar time, especially for iftar time.
That's
a
beautiful.
special time. So that's a suggestion you can use. I actually made it handmade. It's not you just get some fabric from Joanne or something,
And just make it.
Just make it yourself.
Wow.
You don't have to buy the $30 fancy Ramadan calendar.
Yeah, no, they're expensive. But yeah, we grew up with those things. Those Christmas in our school, in our classrooms used to be those the Christmas calendar, the 30 days of December, and every day you punch open one of them. There's something inside there, and you remember it. You grew up like this. This is part of your DNA, because whatever in that young age, whatever your brain absorbs, it's in there. It's not gonna go. And so imagine them having that type of an experience with Eid, which the school tells them to have with Easter and Christmas and everything else. They will respect everyone, but they will enjoy their own, inshallah. So, alhamdulillah. So for the sisters who came a bit late, any questions? The sisters who came late, I was announcing that inshallah this is our last class till maybe after Ramadan. Next Tuesday, inshallah, next Monday, Mufti Wasim, who's mashallah our new consulting scholar, he's going to be starting, I gave it a name, it's on my phone, I'm sorry. It's called Dive into the Quran. It's called Dive into Quran with Mufti Wasim Khan. So inshallah from next Monday, I think it's going to be 11:30 to 1:30, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. I think Friday will be a shorter time because of Jummah, and maybe the weekends. He's going to do a thing for the entire community, which they're going to be discussing the Quran, the Tarjumah, Tafsir, the purpose of revelation, the fiqh, the questions, everything. The sisters who want to engage in asking and discussing this will sit here facing that direction, while he'll be doing the class from their live stream. And the sisters who have the children and want to just listen, they will be using the main hall upstairs. So all the main halls of the masjid will be this class starting from next Monday. So I highly encourage all of you. I know Ramadan is coming and schedules are there. If you can make it next Tuesday, do come Tuesday. If you can make it Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, come as many days as you can, inshallah. And this will go on for 40 days. So hopefully he'll finish close to the end of Ramadan, so you have more time for ibadat. But inshallah, as I said, our goal is to bring in as many professionals to help our community grow. When it comes to the youth, when it comes to education, when it comes to adults, when it comes to sisters, inshallah, if we get everyone's support in this masjid for that common goal, then as I said, inshallah, next my thought is to propose to the shura that we get a female scholar that can help female in their female issues when it comes to fiqh, when it comes to personal issues, someone who could mentor them. There's a lot that we need. We have a large community. But when everyone comes together and supports our vision, then inshallah these things will be possible, inshallah. So Jazakallah khair, all of you have been greatly instrumental, helpful. Your du'as, your efforts have been there, and ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to reward you in both the worlds for everything you've all done and all that you will continue to do. And as the Imam of the community, I'm very grateful to all of you, mashallah, for everything. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala continue to use us for goodness, inshallah. Ameen. So that being said, inshallah, we move beyond that. We want to hopefully finish the connection with the Lord. And that is, the next part is, now that we've gone through all of this, the different aspects of worship, we went into different aspects of life, where are we getting to as this seed is spreading its roots before it sprouts? And before it sprouts, it makes the tree that we built. Remember the tree we built at the very beginning? I hope this is the right book. We built the tree of where the seed is you and your Allah, yourself, your family, and everything else goes all the way to the top, right? And the top of this book, which is the overarching beauty of it and the fruits, is that conviction. It's the tawakkul, the taqwa, the fitra, the trust. Like all the goods are on the tree, but we need that bark, we need those limbs, we need those branches, and before that we need it to sprout. So all that we've discussed so far, the Muslim woman and her Lord, is the roots. We're trying to get the roots as far as we can. And inshallah, after Ramadan, we will sprout with a Muslim and sister and herself. Because one thing we don't understand in this religion is that you have an obligation on yourself. You have an obligation on yourself. People say I have an obligation on Allah, my family, my work. I have to work because it's an ibadah and I'm doing it for my family. But you have an obligation on yourself. What is that obligation? So inshallah, we will learn that in more detail after Ramadan, inshallah. But today we finish off with the last few pointers. A Muslim sister, a Muslim woman, her loyalty is to Allah alone. Now there's difference between faith and loyalty. Let me explain this to you. Faith means I believe in Allah. I believe. But just because I believe doesn't compel me to just resort. Like my brother has a restaurant, for example. I love his food. But that doesn't mean I just have to eat his food. I could sometimes go next door and eat from the other, even though my brother will say, hey, why aren't you coming to my restaurant? I'm not loyal to you. I like your food. I endorse your food, but I like the other food also. So faith means that you give good reviews, but loyalty means you're fully committed. You're fully committed in good days, in bad days, in ups, in downs, when they're out of business, when they're going out of business, or when they are really expanding their business. Loyalty and faith are two different things. So to a Muslim, faith may mean, yeah, I believe in Allah, but I will also do this. But loyalty means I will believe in Allah, I will turn to Allah, I will ask from Allah, and I will resort to Allah first, and then I'll go to something else if needed. Because when I make my dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala doesn't give me what I'm expecting right away, Allah will give it to me through a means that He will direct my heart towards. There's a difference between saying, I'm going to the doctor, or I'm now going to go to the doctor. I'm going to the doctor means because I put my faith and trust and loyalty that he's going to help me or she's going to help me. Whereas I'm now going to my doctor means I've put my loyalty to Allah, I've turned to my Allah, I fully believe my Allah is doing is right. Now I'm going to go to the second option of Allah's doing. You understand? Allah through Allah. So loyalty means always through Allah. If, for example, you have a loyal employee who even after 5 o'clock says, can I go to the bathroom? Can I do this? Or after 5:10 when they're off the clock, they're still mopping the floor or putting things away. Not the one who's saying, before 5 o'clock, let me shut everything down so I could run out. What a person says, this person is loyal. I can give them the keys of the business. I know they'll take care of it. People seek loyalty in this world. And the biggest problem in corporate America right now, you can't find loyalty. You can't find loyalty anymore. It's like, even if you have an employee, you have to have cameras to make sure that they don't mess you up. You're scared, right? Because loyalty is gone. You know why loyalty is gone? Because loyalty to Allah is gone. There was an amazing invisible force that when we were loyal to Allah, everything was loyal to each other. Not to the Muslims. That's what I'm saying. Oh, everyone was, no. Everything was good to everything and everyone. Everything was perfect. But when we lost our loyalty to Allah, everything lost loyalty on each other. So when you see that there is loyalty being lost even amongst the animals, and when you see plants eating on plants, when you see creation, invading other parts of creation, know that this is a result of loss of loyalty to Allah. Whatever happens in the world is a direct effect of what I'm doing or I'm not doing. You have to see it that way. Then you'll be able to see how much work you need to do on yourself. We are not disconnected from Allah's creation. We are a part of making Allah's creation good or bad. We play an active role. Just like you have to water the grass to make it green, and you have to remove all sources of water from it for it to die. You have to do something. So we are doing something. When we see our world where it's going, basically our loyalty to Allah is deficient. Doesn't mean you don't have faith. It means your loyalty is deficient. So one of the results of the Muslim woman's pride in her Islamic identity, because that's what we were talking about last, is that she will never be loyal to anything or anyone other than Allah. Now you don't have to say, I need to be loyal to my husband or my children or to my wife or to my boss because I fear that if I'm not fully loyal, they may run away from me or they may change me out. No. My loyalty is so strong to Allah that I bring the loyalty through Allah to everything. That even in my deficiencies, the loyalty I get in return from them is there because I did it through Allah. There's sometimes a different taste than when you drink something from a can or a bottle, or you drink something from your mouth, or you drink it from a straw. There's sometimes a different taste. Like if you eat a pizza from a box or you eat pizza from a pan, is this a difference? So the same thing is, there's a difference when you do things through Allah or you do things around Allah. So now a Muslim woman's loyalty is such that she's not going to be loyal to other things in fear of them or in hope from them. And the author just wrote it there. Not even her husband or her father, who are amongst the closest people to her. She will display her display of this loyalty, this wala, in the life of the Prophet ﷺ's wife, Habiba radiallahu anha, Ramla bint Abi Sufyan, the chief of Makkah and the leader of the Mushrikeen. She was married to the Prophet ﷺ's cousin, the son of her paternal aunt, Ubaydullah ibn Jahsh al-Asadi, the brother of the Prophet ﷺ's wife, Zainab. Her husband, Ubaydullah, embraced Islam, and she entered Islam with him, while her father, Abu Sufyan, we know who he was still a kafir and disbeliever. She and her husband migrated to Abyssinia, the first hijrah, with the first Muslims who went there, and left her father behind in Makkah, boiling with rage because his daughter had embraced Islam and there was no way he can get at her. But the life of this patient Muslim woman was not free from problems. Sadly, her husband Ubaydullah left Islam and became Christian, joining the religion of the Abyssinians. He tried to make her join him in Christianity, but she refused to remain, and she remained steadfast in her faith of Islam. She had given birth to her daughter Habiba and was now known as Habiba. May Allah be pleased with both of them. She withdrew from people and felt as if she would die of grief and sorrow because of all the disasters that had befallen her. She and her daughter were alone in a strange land, and all the ties between her and her father and her husband had been cut. The father of her small daughter was now Christian, and the child's grandfather was a mushrik and an enemy to Islam. who had declared all-out war on the Prophet ﷺ, in whom she believed and the religion that she followed. Just let this sink in. Like, she embraced Islam, her husband embraced Islam, she embraced Islam, but when she embraced Islam, Islam, not because her husband did. And it became so dear to her that even after migration, when her husband said, hey, the Christians are better, and he became a Christian, she stayed firm to Islam because she grew that loyalty to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Her father is one of the biggest enemies of Islam, Abu Sufyan. So here, your one side is a crocodile, one side is an alligator. Where is she going to go in this situation? Think about how tough life was. What allows us to get through difficulties of life? I ask you, what allows us to? It is our loyalty to Allah. It is our reliance on Allah. It is our belief that Allah is going to come through. And Allah will always come through and make you a means for others to come through. Umar ibn Khattab is going to kill the Prophet ﷺ. And someone bumps into him in the streets. He goes, hey, before you go do what you want to, go fix your own sister and your own family. She's a Muslim. Right? Look at how the diversion happened. Just diverted. What do you mean? And he went. He slapped his sister. She hid the papers. She made him clean himself and touch the papers. And he became a Muslim. When we are convicted in our faith, and we're like, oh, how are we going to bring morality back into society and goodness and peace? Be loyal to Allah. Because you cannot do it. إِنَّكَ لَا تَهْدِي مَنْ أَحْبَبْتَ. Quran says, you cannot, O Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, verily you cannot guide who you love. You wanted your uncle. Your uncle died saying the last words, if I believe in you, what will Quraysh say? Huh? You cannot guide who you want. Allah guides who He wills. So when we put down that I need to change the world because I believe it's better, your loyalty is on your belief of you doing something. If we say my loyalty is to do something through Allah because my loyalty is on Allah and Allah is my inspiration to do this, watch how Allah, through His infinite light, starts changing the hearts of the people so fast. You cannot do it. Because the qulub, the hearts, are between asabi' ar-Rahman. Allah's fingers, between Allah's fingers are the hearts of the people. يُقَلِّبُهَا كَيْفَ يَشَاءُ. Allah turns it how He wishes. Today's enemies, Allah can turn to Mu'tabi radiallahu an. And this, her husband, left Islam. It's all between Allah's fingers. Think about that example. It's as easy as this metaphor is used for all our technology today. Push start car, flick of the light switch. Why? Because the most greatest command you can show and demonstrate is with your finger. If you have Nokias or back home, ye karo. With a snap of your finger, the world comes to you. Because the fingers mean that you can do so much with the most fragile parts of your body. Right? And here, the hearts of everyone is between Allah's fingers. See how easy Allah could switch it on and off. Think about how this technology has come to being, I believe, through this teaching of the finger. If not, we would have been turning lights on by kicking something, right? Or we would have been turning the car by headbutting the steering wheel. We don't know. Because technology wouldn't have understood the power of the fingers. That's why I say it's in your fingertips, right? It's on the cell phone's on your fingertip. Now you can get your tickets and everything on your fingertips. Like it's all on your fingertips. Everything in this whole creation, this whole universe is between the fingers of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So if our loyalty is to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, she should have killed herself. She should have ran away. She already left Makkah. She left home. She left her father. Her husband left her. She's stuck in no man's land. What is she doing? No, her loyalty is on Allah. My Allah is going to show me something. And not show me something tomorrow. My Allah showing me something as we speak. And the beauty of its entirety will manifest very soon. So nothing could save her from this distress and grief except the care of the Prophet ﷺ, who was losing sleep over the believers who had migrated. The Prophet ﷺ didn't say, get lost, I don't need you. He was worried. What's happening to them? Did they get to Abyssinia? Are they okay? Is everything being done okay? And then, of course, the Mushrikeen, the Quraysh sent their delegation. So everything was bothering him, concerned for their welfare and checking on them. He sent word to Negus to request him to arrange his marriage to Habiba, the daughter of Abu Sufyan, one of the immigrants to his country, as explained in the books of Sirah and history. Thus, Habiba, the daughter of Abu Sufyan, became one of the mothers of the believers. SubhanAllah. Allah never makes a mistake. My loyalty is my Lord never makes a mistake. I will falter in seeing my Lord's goodness, but I will believe till the time if someone strips my skin off my body and chops me to pieces, my loyalty is on Allah because my Allah never makes a mistake. Allah never makes a mistake. She was in the most vulnerable state of her life. When Maryam alayhi salam was alone and she became pregnant, Allah showed miracles there. When Maryam alayhi salam was alone in that room of Zakaria alayhi salam that he gave her, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's miracles manifested. When Yusuf alayhi salam was stuck with the wife of Aziz in Misr, Allah's miracles manifest itself. When your problems push you into the road alone and you don't know which direction to go, Allah's miracles are manifesting themselves. Let it happen. Don't fight it. The only way you'll be able to weather the storm is through your loyalty. And the only way you will lose yourself is the lack of loyalty. Doesn't mean you don't have faith. Faith and loyalty, as I told you. Just because my brother has a restaurant and I eat somewhere else doesn't mean I don't like his food. I like his food. I trust his food. But I'm not loyal to his food. We believe in Allah. But we don't have to commit all our lives to Allah. We could pray, learn, fast. But I need some time for myself and my own way. No. Loyalty means my good days, my bad days. Inna salati wa nusuki wa mahyaya wa mamati lillahi rabbil alameen. You know, my prayers, my sacrifices, my life, my death is for Allah. Meaning even my days of goodness and happiness, the days of fun and enjoyment, the days of excitement or sorrow, everything is for Allah. When you embrace, there's a whole new world. A whole new level pops out. You're in a whole new level of its own. Now the world seems different to you. So now the Prophet ﷺ is worried about those 13, and here she is, she's vulnerable. The Prophet ﷺ is sending a proposal to King Negus. If she can come back because he wants to marry her. What, there was no women in Mecca? Was there no women in Mecca? No. This is how Allah manifested His goodness for her. Time passed as the conquest of Mecca drew closer. The threat to Quraysh, who had broken the treaty of Hudaybiyah, became ever more apparent. Their leaders met and realized that Muhammad ﷺ would never keep quiet about their betrayal because they had betrayed a treaty or accept the humiliation that had inflicted on him. So they agreed to send him an envoy to Medina to negotiate a renewal and extension to the treaty with Muhammad ﷺ. So they said, you know what, before the Hudaybiyah treaty breaks because of us, we're the reason, let's try to get this thing resolved. So the man chosen for this task was Abu Sufyan ibn Harb. Look at this story. This is amazing. Abu Sufyan now comes to Medina. He was nervous about meeting Muhammad ﷺ. Then he remembered that he had a daughter in the Prophet ﷺ's house. How many people come and say, I'm a Muslim, I'm worried my parents won't embrace Islam, I don't know what to do, or my parents hate me, or whatever happens. If we trust in Allah, He'll bring something around. Something will happen, inshallah. Never give up hope on Him. If this story, we can walk away from this class today, after these months of this class, this story is gold. He remembered that he had a daughter in the Prophet's household. So he sneaked into her house and asked her to help him achieve what he had come for. Habiba was surprised to see him in her house, as she had not seen him since she had left for Abyssinia. She stood up, filled with confusion, not knowing what to do or what to say. Abu Sufyan realized that his daughter was overwhelmed with the shock of his sudden arrival. So he asked for her permission to sit down and went over to sit on the bed. He was stunned when his daughter Ramla rushed to grab the mattress and roll it up. He said, "Oh, my daughter, I do not understand. Is this mattress not good enough for me, or am I not good enough for it?" She said, "It belongs to the Messenger of Allah, sallallahu, and you are a mushrik, so I do not want you to sit on it." Ramla bint Abi Sufyan affirmed her loyalty to Allah. She had no regrets about her worthless husband who had sold his religion for the world. She remained steadfast in her faith, bearing the pain of grief and loneliness in a strange land, where she was most in need of her husband to protect her and take care of her and her daughter. Allah, the beneficent bestower, compensated her with the best that any woman could have hoped for at that time, and made her the wife of the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, and so her status was raised to that of one of the mothers of the believers. The shock of seeing her father so suddenly after many years did not make her forget her loyalty to Allah and His Messenger. She pulled the Prophet ﷺ's mattress away from her father because he was a disbeliever, and she did not want to let him contaminate it by sitting on it. Meaning, my loyalty is so good, I don't want to. See, people have these questions. I hang out with my friends, they drink alcohol. I don't drink alcohol, I just sit with them because I don't want them to see I'm bad. Now, to us, it may sound funny, but it's real problems for the next generation because this is the culture they're surrounded by. How do we fix it? Tell them it's haram? Tell them, yeah, go drink? Or tell them, don't go to work and leave your job? No, the only thing that will change them will be the loyalty to Allah. They will realize what to distance from and what not to distance from. They will make the right decisions. So we're teaching everything today but loyalty to Allah. I have not heard of a course called loyalty to Allah. I've heard Arabic, I've heard tafsir, I've heard tarjuma, I've heard fiqh, I've heard everything, seerah. I have not heard loyalty to Allah. All these things are irrelevant if loyalty is not there first. The light bulb is worthless if there's no fixture. And the fixture is worthless unless there is electric connection. And the electric connection is worthless unless there's electricity. Electricity is loyalty to Allah. You need the electricity first. Then everything will come after that. So this was the attitude of a Muslim woman who is proud of her religion. Her soul is filled with faith, and there is no room for tribalism or loyalty to anyone other than Allah and His religion. Throughout history, Muslim women's pride in their Islamic identity gave them the strength and determination to resist temptations and threats, and protected them from being overwhelmed by the forces of kufr and falsehood, no matter how powerful these were. You see, do not portray a picture of goodness in front of your children of the life of the Prophet ﷺ. His life was beautiful. The life of Makkah and Medina was tough. Don't say everything was beautiful and all the Jews and the Muslims lived together. No. It was a struggle. They lived together, but there's a struggle. The Prophet ﷺ is coming back from Khandaq. He is tired. Jibreel said, "I'm still in my armor. You better not take your armor off." Why? Because we have another war to fight. Treason has been committed. Right? The people that you were building trust with have now broken trust with you. Teach your children about the obstacles and hurdles of the time of Islam. Why? Because this world has obstacles. And when we paint it like such a beautiful picture, they're like, well, if Islam was so good, why wasn't I at that time? Because I can't take this time. No, teach them the struggles because they will value the struggles and they'll understand it's part of the process. There were struggles in the Prophet ﷺ's house. There was struggle between the husband and wife. There was struggle with the children and daughters. There was struggles everywhere. Talk about those struggles. His daughters were divorced, right? His sons died. He separated from his wife for almost 40 days, his wives, because of their demand of money. This happened. Talk about these things. Why? Because we've painted a picture that marriage is perfect. Islam is perfect. When you're a Muslim, the whole world will bow down and say Allah Akbar to you. No. The Prophet ﷺ was hurt till the time of his passing. Every time someone tried to hurt him. But it was his loyalty to Allah that protected him. It was the loyalty to Allah that Allah told the angel to tell him that the food was poison, don't eat it. It was a loyalty from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It was a loyalty to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that allowed the animals to come and help him. That allowed that rock and that stone in the mountain of Uhud to become a pillow for him. That allowed the trees to come and cover him when he used to use the bathroom. The trees used to get up and walk. They used to walk and cover him so he could go to the bathroom. It was his loyalty to Allah that made this happen. It was his loyalty, it was that love of Allah that Allah instilled in him from before his birth that allowed the animal and the animal of Dai Halima, may Allah be pleased with her, to go faster than all the other animals. It was his loyalty to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that allowed that house of his to become pure for the monotheistic faith. Loyalty to Allah. Teach our children loyalty. If they're loyal to Allah, they'll be loyal to you as children. They'll be loyal to their teachers. They'll be loyal to the law and the society. They'll be loyal to their employees and their employers. There's one way it starts, and that's from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And there's one way where it fails, and that's in the absence of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So, what happened to Abu Sufyan? Anyone? When?
After Fateh Makkah, and that's the end of the year.
With Hinda, right? That's it. Hinda was also so interesting. After all this ups and downs, you don't control the waves, but you do control your vessel. When you're in the ocean, you can't control the storm. Tomorrow, a big storm is coming to Dallas. I don't know why many of us don't know the storm that happened on Saturday. Many people have died. 10 people died in South Dallas with 3 tornadoes that hit. And another storm's coming tomorrow. So you can't control the weather, but what you can control is to anchor down your boat, to make sure that you put your cars in the garage. That's what you control. So the Muslims at the time never talked about the waves. They talked about the ship. Today everyone's talking about the waves. And that's useless. You cannot change the nature of the ocean. It's going to have its waves. And the waves will be exacerbated by the storm or the climate or whatever happens. But what you have to talk about is, how does your ship get through these waves? If a person is strong enough, firm enough, and confident enough, they can make a canoe survive in these waves. But if a person is not firm enough, strong enough, that even the Viking cruise ship was thrown around in the ocean just a month ago because it lost electricity and people were flying left and right. It was a ship. It was humongous. It's a whole world on a boat. But it couldn't survive itself. Now do you understand the analogy of the Prophet ﷺ? The Ummah will be large, will be a global force, but the waves will throw us everywhere. And that's what it's doing to us. We're being thrown everywhere. And all we're talking about, oh, why is that wave like this? Why is that wave like that? Stop talking about the waves. Take your kayak or your canoe and make yourself successful in getting through this journey, inshallah. So Abu Sufyan, after the conquer of Makkah, the conquest of Makkah, Hind and him were like, you know what, we're done today. Today's going to be, now it's done for us. We're going to hear the screams and the cries and the killing. And when she got frustrated, because the Prophet ﷺ announced that, go in your homes, you're being safe. Go in the homes of the enemies, you'll be safe. If you go in the house of Abu Sufyan, you're safe. We're not going to intrude in anyone's house. We're not going to break down anyone's door today. But Hind, she couldn't take it because it was too quiet. Sometimes a parent wants the kids to be quiet at home, but when the kids are quiet, you're also concerned. Why are they so quiet for? What's going on? What's going on in the kitchen? Where are the kids? So it was too quiet. She's like, I need to go find out what's going on. So by the time she covered up and the woman covered and she covered herself and she found all the Muslims in the tawaf area, making tawaf, praying to Allah. And there's the Prophet ﷺ making dua, oh Allah, give hidayah to Hind. Give hidayah to Abu Sufyan. Huh? After all these years, bitterness was not in the heart of the Prophet ﷺ. Today we justify having bitterness against political leaders or people in the world. We justify it. They're kafir, they should go jahannam and blah, blah, blah. Never have bitterness here. That bitterness is justified. We also justify bitterness amongst ourselves. in our own blood, in our own faith. Bitterness, let me tell you something. The bitterness, like you can have sweet and salty candies nowadays, right? Not in England, so you're not gonna say that. But you cannot have that in your heart. You cannot have the love and sweetness of faith and bitterness not. They do not mix. Today they can prove to you that oil and water could mix, but faith and bitterness cannot mix. They cannot. Ever. So long there's an atom of bitterness against anyone, faith in its sweetness is not there. You made, for example, jalebi, but you forgot to put sugar. they're orange rice cakes. They taste nasty. Like, what is this? No, you need to put the sugar, and the sugar is what? Your faith. And faith cannot live in a heart where there's bitterness against anyone. I should be opening my heart so wide for Allah's sweetness to come in that I push away all my grievances and hate. Just push it away. I don't want it. Because this is more important. It's not that I can't forgive or forget. The question is, we're turning the table here. The table isn't what they've done. The table is what Allah wants to do for me. So when you turn the table and see it that way, you'd rather fill up your cart, you'd fill up your home, you'd fill up your heart with this instead of accommodating those other things. So bitterness from the tongue of a believer, bitterness from the action of the believer, bitterness from the demeanor of the believer will never make us successful with Allah. Allah does not reside in hearts where there's darknesses and evils. And evil isn't just zina or drinking or alcohol or gambling. Darknesses is where we harbor malice and animosity. How many hadith that we've been told that Shab Barat, Laylatul Qadr, Shab Miraj, like Shab Barat, Allah will forgive everyone, except for those two who harbor malice in their hearts. They have animosity. Allah will not forgive them. So on such a day, you're like, you know what? God, give them hidayah. They're so bitter and corrupt. No, the fact that you have bitterness in your heart by articulating that you have bitterness also. Here's Rasulullah sitting by the Kaaba, by the Hakim, saying, oh Allah, give him hidayah. What do you have to gain if someone goes to hell? Ask yourself. What do you have to gain when someone gets punished on Day of Judgment? Tell me, what do you have to gain? You're going to nudge the person next to you from the time of Nuh alayhi salam? Hey, that was my enemy. He's getting it. He'll be looking at you. I was on a boat, so don't tell me about your enemy, right? I had my problems. But we pray for some people to get punished on the Day of Judgment. We pray for them to go to hell. Here's our Prophet praying that, oh Allah, there's space in your heaven. If they get it, what's wrong? If they get that space in heaven, why not? So we have to change our minds. Let bitterness go. If you can't forgive a person for what they've done to you, I understand. We're humans. If you can't forget, I understand we're humans. I'm not telling you to focus on that. I'm telling you to fixate on Allah. Allow the sweetness to come in. Allow the bitterness to go away. Allow that to do it. Don't allow yourself to do it because you can't do it. Allow Allah to do it. So when Hind heard her name from the beloved tongue of the Prophet ﷺ, whose uncle's kaleja she ate, why not? I have space in this faith also. We need to pray for everyone. Pray for, not pray against. We pray that, oh Allah, give us hidayah, give the world hidayah, make the world good. Oh Allah, if goodness is somewhere in your treasures for them, give them that goodness. But oh Allah, if goodness isn't there for them, and they have destined themselves for the doom and for evil, oh Allah, remove them and the evil from affecting us. There's ways of asking from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We are not the dictators to Allah. Nowadays, the way we talk to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is we're very derogatory tone, or as if He has a favor, like we have favors on Him and He owes us something. He owes us nothing. Allah has given us so much that if He took everything away from us right now, left us on the street, He gave you 2 eyes, which a blind person will give millions of dollars for. He gave you 2 hands, which a person who doesn't eat with his hands ever could give you millions of dollars for. He gave you feet to walk what a person who drags himself across the earth would give you millions of dollars for. He's given you more than enough. You know, don't say to Allah, you haven't given me based on what the world has. Acknowledge Allah's given you everything based on what you do have. And so she became Muslim. Abu Sufyan became Muslim. They're like, as I said, peace and goodness is a force that even war and bombs and planes and grenades and AK-47s cannot defeat. They were bitter to the core. Abu Sufyan was bitter to the core. Now understand the story from his perspective. His daughter ran away from him. They have a noble family. They have a noble status. Abu Sufyan. Hey, Abu Sufyan, if you imagine how someone wanted to mess with him. So Abu Sufyan, how's your Muslim daughter doing? You know how much that would burn him? You know how much that would burn him? That here we are, the pagans, the idol worshippers, and here is my daughter, my closest blood, is a follower of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And then she's out there, and then her husband leaves her. He knows she's vulnerable. He's having a good time. Look, she got a taste of her own medicine. The king Negus became a Muslim because he knew Islam was true. Her husband left Islam, but she was fine because her Islam wasn't based on people. Her Islam wasn't based on situations. Remember, Allah tells us in the Quran about, and I'm not saying someone's a hypocrite, but Allah tells us about hypocrites that when you have something, they're coming to you. We're with you. Inna ma'akum. We're with you. But then when you don't have to go to other people, say, yeah, we're just messing with them. Because they're looking for where they get their ease. And they would say, Inna ma nahnu mustahzi'un. We're just making fun of them. Allah wants that loyalty. If you become unloyal, you don't even know who you are. So, regardless if there's food today or not, there's money or not, I'm loyal to Allah. Regardless if my husband or my wife is here or they left me, I'm still loyal to Allah. Regardless if my children are with me or my children have abandoned me, I'm still with Allah. My Islam shouldn't be affected because of all the circumstances. Because my loyalty to Allah is the core pillar of my life, not my situations, my life. So if I understand that, everything will make itself work out. But then when he comes to her and he says, here, I'm here, daughter, I'm here to talk to Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, and she's saying, no, you are my father, but this is not your place. And then of course, then now she returns back, the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam returns back, and here he embraces Islam because he knew the landscape of the world was changing from Arabia, from Hijaz. And no one is going to stop Islam's goodness and the message of goodness from spreading. They had to accept it. All the time they spoke against Islam. See, nowadays people say Islam is bad, Sharia law, Sharia law. Don't fight them. Keep on showing the goodness of Islam. Allow the goodness of Islam to overshadow their claims. We don't need claims against claims. We don't need historical data or text to prove it. We had a college here this morning. And the professor and I said, Islam never spread by the sword. He goes, it never spread by the sword? I said, never spread by the sword. I said, what Islam taught and what Muslims did may be different, but Islam never spread by the sword. You have to believe that. Yes, some Muslims did things which were wrong, just like the Crusades killed in the name of Christianity, but Jesus in the Bible didn't say to do that. There are verses in the Bible that anyone could take out of context, which are very, very derogatory. Just as people can take verses of the Quran, cut and paste it, and make it very, very bad also. But when you look at the overarching message, you look at the whole story, you understand religion didn't come to kill people. So we have to believe, regardless what some Muslims may have done, Islam didn't spread by the sword. Because nothing spreads by violence. It may come for a few days and leave. Just like some religions, like we will feed you, we'll give you clothing and housing, and you believe in us. The second you stop that, the second they'll run. So we don't need to sell our religion to people by buying them in with favors. We need to understand that Allah is the thread. I was thinking about this the other day. See, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is sitting on his throne, right? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Allah is on his throne. So when you think about Allah on his throne, then you think about Allah like in the sky above, high above, right? But then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَنَحْنُ أَقْرَبُ إِلَيْهِ مِنْ حَبْلِ الْوَرِيدِ. We're closer to you than your jugular veins. So, I feel that Allah is in us. Because think about it. When a person does that good, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, كُنْتُ سَمْعُهُ الَّذِي يَسْمَعُ بِهِ وَبَصَرُهُ الَّذِي يَبْصُرُ بِهِ وَيَدُهُ الَّذِي يَبْطِشُ بِهِ. I become the person's eyes through which they see, the ears through which they hear, the hands through which they hold. What is this correlation? If Allah is closer than this, closer than our lifeline, then Allah, if we understand Allah is in us, our loyalty to Allah is in us. Now that sharam is there, I want to do something wrong, but Allah's watching me. Allah's right there. You will never do anything wrong when someone's looking at you, would you? No, you're like, they're watching me. A thief will not steal when people are watching the person. They cannot. They're like, their shame prevents them from stealing because they want to do it when no one's looking. But now Allah is right there. He's closer to me than my own blood. Then that means Allah is in me. That Allah, if I become what Allah wants me to be, He says He'll become my hands, my eyes, my ears. Now I can never do wrong. Because my sharam and my shame is Allah's right there. Allah's there. Think about this. So the Prophet ﷺ made them understand Allah's there. That the other people who were so vehemently against Islam felt Allah's presence around them. Wherever you go, let people feel Allah's presence through you. Even if they don't believe in Islam, we're not going to go do da'wah and say convert. That feeling will make them say, I want that. It's a big difference. Many companies tell you buy their products. Many people say, I want to buy that product. There's two different ways of marketing. That once the people believe in the product, they'll come asking, can I have this? Oh, we're sold out. No, back order, online, something, I need it. Oh, there's 1,000. No, I want that one. That's the Islam we're looking for. Because that's the wholesome life that every human being should experience. But we need to experience it first. So yes, Abu Sufyan embraced radiallahu anhu, but it came after the constant proving that your goodness comes from within you. Throughout history, Muslim women's pride in their Islamic identity gave them the strength and determination to resist temptations and threats, protected them from being overwhelmed by the forces of kufr and falsehood, no matter how powerful they were. The Muslim women's souls were filled with an unquenchable fire of faith, as we see in the steadfastness of Pharaoh's wife. Now, some people may say, oh, the Prophet ﷺ was there and it was so nice and the environment was so good. I wish I was at the time of the Prophet ﷺ. I tell this nice wish, but don't wish that. You know why? Because if we were there, we might have been with Abu Jahl. Right? Think about today, we mock and we put down each other. The Imam doesn't know or that scholar doesn't know. Like, we'd say these things. What would be our demeanor with the Prophet ﷺ? Because the people after someone will always appreciate the true value after they're gone. So here, let's put a new story. The story is the Prophet was Musa alayhi salam, but his effort was very much restricted because he was trying to get Bani Israel out. And here is Pharaoh's wife, not with Musa alayhi salam because she was with him when a baby, but now he's not there, but her faith, because she was touched by that connection with Allah. That in the most worst of circumstances, knowing that she'll lose being the queen, know that she'll lose being who she was and what she was connected to, know that she's going to be tortured by her husband. Dhul Awtad, this man was notorious. The first thing he used to do is nail people down. That's Dhul Awtad, the person of nails. He used to nail them down first and then punish them. Sometimes nail them down that the animals eat them. Nail them down first. She challenged the entire pharaonic world with all its temptations and pleasures. She had the gold, she had the crown, she had the throne, she had the bed, she had the castle, she had the palace, she had the power, she had the husband. She said, no, faith is a burning fire in me. Caring little about the punishments heaped upon her by her husband because of her faith. She was so pure, it is written that they never had their own child. Because whenever Pharaoh wanted to have a relationship, she would become like wood. She becomes stiff. He couldn't even touch her. This was Allah preserving her. So what she says, it's in the Quran, "Oh my Lord, build for me عندك بيتا في الجنة, near to you a mansion in the garden. وَنَجِّنِي مِنْ فِرْعَوْنَ وَعَمَلِي, save me from Pharaoh and his doings. وَنَجِّنِي مِنَ الْقَوْمِ الظَّالِمِينَ, and save me from those that do wrong." Some scholars have written, because she made a very makhsus and special dua, "Give me a house by you in Jannah. Above Jannat al-Firdaus and Jannat al-Na'im, there's Maqam al-Mahmud, one Jannah. And that's for who, inshallah? Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. Now she's asking for a very special place, but there's only one special place. So some scholars say that Maryam alayhi salam and her will be united with the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam in Jannah. Inshallah. Think about this. Oh Allah, give me a house, build for me a house near to you in the garden of Jannah. وَنَجِّنِي مِنْ فِرْعَوْنَ, Allah, she said, save me from Fir'aun. Allah saved her. But when you look at it, Allah didn't save her. Because when he found out she was a Muslim, he nailed her down. He tortured her. He asked her to renounce her faith. She died like that. So by eyes, she was tortured. Allah didn't save her. Because what I think Allah is saying, Allah drives up, grabs her, puts in the car, drives away. No. She went through it. But Allah gave her the strength and the resolve that when she was being punished, what she was seeing, what she was facing, only Allah knows that. That she didn't renounce her faith. She didn't give up her strength and power. She left her last moments of her life in the worldly humiliation, but in divine honor. Divine honor. That tomorrow she will be with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, inshallah with the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam also. Because Allah kept the pure for the pure. She had to go through this in the castle. She gave up the world that she had. We are still hesitant to give up the world we dream of. We don't even have it yet. We're dreaming of it. Oh Allah, if I live a simple life, do it, because the promise of Allah is real. The dream of the dunya is always going to be a dream. And the biggest concern for those who got their dreams is what they do with their dreams. Because now they know they're going to die. That's why Bill Gates will put to Bill Gates Foundation, and Walid bin Talal will give, a few billion away, because you got everything, but the everything that you think is everything is nothing. The true everything is in Jannah. If you can convert all this world and everything you have and consolidate and say, "Oh Allah, I want to give this to you as currency for tomorrow," what will Allah give us? Say, we're traveling. Stay in this world like you're a traveler or a passerby. You need your little handbag, you need your little tiffin, kana, lunchbox. You need your clothes and walk on, and keep a credit card in your pocket. That's all you need, right? You don't need to carry cash anymore. The days of cash and checks and, what do you call those, cashier checks and whatever else they were, traveler's checks, it's all gone. Keep one credit card and off you go. And so when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala calls us, we don't leave behind so much the families will fight for years. Rasulullah left what? Whatever he left, most of it was in the hand of a Jewish person because he took a loan from him. Let it go. Yes, live. Live. If Allah's given you billions, live millions. But let me tell you one thing. Don't allow that dunya to get into your heart. Don't allow it to get into your heart. Because the second it gets into your heart, it bought you over. You buy it, use it, drive your car. But don't allow the car to drive you. No, I can't park there. Someone might scratch it. The car's not driving you. You'll drive at the other end of the mall because you don't want anyone to scratch it. The car's driving you. You're not driving the car. The car's got into your heart when the car was supposed to be, you're supposed to be sitting in this car. Don't go vice versa on it. So it doesn't matter if it's a little or a lot, don't let the dunya change us. Seeking the pleasure of Allah and striving to make His word supreme on earth came above any other goal or ambition. The true Muslim woman never forgets this truth, and as time passes, her pride in her Islamic identity, her devotion to this unique divinely ordained way of life, and her loyalty to Allah go from strength to strength. So let me end by saying this. I have to actually run for me. Let me say one thing. The second that you taste, inshallah, this Ramadan, a level of faith, a level of strength, you will feel the need to go to the next level. You're not going to kind of go close to it and launch back. You're going to go, feel it, establish, and then jump. A person was 550 pounds is now take 230 pounds because when he started losing the first 2 pounds, he's like, I can't do it, and I'll keep on doing it. A person who made one muscle said, I'm going to make 100 muscles. Why? Because you know you can do it now. Believe me, Allah is easier to gain than it is to gain muscles. Allah is easier to gain than it is to lose weight. Allah is easier to gain than it is to accomplish something in life. Allah is easier to get. It's not hard. Try it this Ramadan. The pieces are in front of you of faith. Salah told you how to build those pieces through zakat model is the design. Ramadan is the purification stage. Let's make sure this is ready because with Hajj, the Ummah in 3 months, inshallah, or 4 months, May, June, July, August, in 4 months, we will be giving a report card to the world of who we are. But if we have nothing to give, we cannot take anything. So may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make this Ramadan the perfect Ramadan for all of us. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala build a bond between Him and us in a way that He built between Asiya and himself, Maryam alayhi salam and himself, Habiba and himself, Abu Sufyan and himself, and Hind and himself. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us a bond. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala allow us to open our hearts to the sweetness of faith and take away all the bitterness of this world. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala allow us to see His blessings and see Him through the blessings and to elevate those ranks in closeness to Him and distance ourselves from the love of this world. Ameen ya Rabbil Alameen. Jazakumullah khairan, sisters, all of you, mashallah, your attendance, your presence, your questions, your participation is priceless. Pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for you and your families. Please pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for myself and my family. And inshallah, next week, please join the tafsir class with Mufti Wasim. Mashallah, he does a great job and it's going to be a very interesting journey. And encourage your husbands and children also. For those who are working from home, can take an hour or two off, come and participate in this class. The children, as soon as they get off school, inshallah, have them participate in the class and the weekends also. Inshallah, it's going to be a very fruitful journey for all of us. Inshallah, our goal, as I said, is simple. We want this community to come together. We want this community to grow together. We want this community to flourish together, inshallah. So you're going to be a big part of that. Inshallah, it's going to happen with